presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southeast.
We welcome you to New York, New York, a city so nice they had to name it twice. It's been a rainy day for most of the day here in the Big Apple, but things are drying up. Hopefully we'll have no interruptions as the Braves and Mets hook up in the middle game of our set here at Citi Field. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome back to the ballpark. Bartolo Colon pitched a masterpiece last night. Perhaps Matt Whistler was taking notes for the Braves tonight. He's always had good luck against New York, and if he does what Bartolo did to the Braves, Atlanta should be in good shape tonight.
Absolutely, Chip. Matt Whistler's been pitching great baseball. He doesn't have a win to show for it, but so far he has been mighty consistent for the Atlanta staff. This is some action earlier this year against the Los Angeles Dodgers, elevating a fastball there, breaking balls that were outstanding. He had a rough outing his last time out against Boston, but hopefully tonight he can avoid early runs, which would really be a big help. These are his last 8 games dating back to last season, a good ERA and an outstanding whip.
The man on the mound for the Mets has also been consistent, Matt Harvey, but he's been consistently disappointing for the Mets so far this year, I think.
Well, he got off to a horrible start, and nobody could figure out what the problem was. He pitched a game in Atlanta and got away with some mistakes, but he wasn't the Matt Harvey that we've grown accustomed to seeing. However, he's gotten back on track. His last 2 starts you see there, a 3.27 ERA, a couple of wins, and 2 walks against 12 strikeouts. So the Mets are hoping that he continues the run he's been on the last couple of starts and not the guy they saw early in the year.
So it's game 2. It's the Braves and the Mets. We thank you for joining us tonight. When we come back, Kelsey Wingert will have more for us from Citi Field in New York for the Braves and Mets tonight.
By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Welcome back to a cold and rainy night here in New York as your Braves try to even the series versus the Mets with Matt Whistler on the mound tonight. And regardless of the current record of this team, you guys, there is so much to be excited with all of the talent in this organization down in the minor league system. And that's going to take us to our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Check out Gwinnett. They lost, but Rio Ruiz, guys, that is somebody who you need to pay attention to. 2 for 4 with a run scored last night. And then in Mississippi, check out that line by Matt Lipka. 4 for 5, 3 runs, 2 doubles, and a home run last night. So stay patient, and we will be rewarded for all of the talent that's coming our way up here shortly. But stay with us, because we have game 2 of the Braves versus the Mets. Harvey versus Whistler coming your way with Chip and Joe. Starting lineups and first pitch right after the break.
Mazda.
Nice crowd filing in on a misty, raw night in New York City. I don't know about you, Joe, but I feel like I've been living inside a damp cotton ball for about 8 days in a row. It has just been horrible this entire trip.
It has been absolutely miserable. And don't be fooled by that 53 degrees, because it feels a whole lot worse than that tonight, because there's such high humidity and it's so damp. It is, as you said, very raw out here tonight.
No batting practice for either club on the field. The tarp covered the infield until about 30 minutes ago or so. The grounds crew has everything looking as good as can be expected. You see a gentle breeze blowing tonight in New York. It's going to be just a nasty night all the way around, but hopefully Atlanta can get back into the win column against these New York Mets. The Braves looking for their 7th victory of the season, and we were talking about it. If Atlanta wins these last 2 games, they come home with a very successful road trip.
Yeah, you win the road trip. You win tonight and win tomorrow afternoon. Come home happy, have a day off, and get ready to play the Arizona Diamondbacks at Turner Field. So a lot can be, I don't want to say salvaged, but a lot can be made out of this road trip by winning the next 2.
And the Braves have the right guy going tonight in Matt Whistler, who, as we spoke of a moment ago, has had very good luck in his brief career against the Mets. Here's how the Braves line up with Nick Markakis once again in the leadoff spot. Adonis Garcia is going to hit second. He hits fastballs, so he figures to see plenty of those. Hopefully he can get aboard for Freddie Freeman, who's begun to heat up. Freddie with 13 hits in his last 8 games. Kelly Johnson's tonight's cleanup man with A.J. Brzezinski. Reed Brignac back in there. Eric Ibar, Whistler 8th, Malik Smith 9th. And it's Matt Harvey's turn to pitch for New York, as we discussed. It's not been a very happy start to the 2016 season for the Mets right-hander.
No, 27 years old now, 6'4", 220 out of Mystic, Connecticut. #1 pick by the Mets back in 2010 out of the University of North Carolina. We talked about his first 3 starts versus his last 2. A lot of that, 7 walks against only 9 strikeouts in his first 3 starts, and he's having trouble fanning right-handed hitters. And I'm trying to figure out if it's because teams are stacking their lineup with a lot of lefties. He's not seeing many right-handers, but he's not really using that slider to the effectiveness that he's used to.
8 strikeouts for Matt Harvey against right-handed batters in his first 5 starts this year. That's astounding. The defense for New York, same as it was last night. Kevin Plawecki will be the signal caller with Wright and Duda at the corners, Walker and Cabrera up the middle, and Cespedes in center field.
Yeah, if you're Terry Collins, you don't want to change a thing. You got to change your pitcher every night, but otherwise, these guys are just crushing baseballs. Leave them in there.
That's Eric Cooper. He'll call balls and strikes tonight. Jim Wolf at first, Adrian Johnson at second, and Gary Cedarstrom will be the umpire over at third base. Mike Foltynewicz got the ball last night for Atlanta. First inning, had all kinds of problems with 3 home runs. After that, Joe looked like he was able to pitch a little bit better, but certainly not the type of outing Mike was hoping to have in his season debut for the Braves.
I thought he was working too fast. I even said afterwards, you know, sometimes I forgot to take a breath. Maybe that will be something he can control his next time out, be a little calmer, a little more relaxed, because he said he was definitely amped up.
So you can see the mist falling. Beads of precipitation on the helmet of Nick Markakis as he stands in against Matt Harvey here at the top of the first. And Nick launches one out of play. Strike 1. 53 degrees.
Harvey beat the Braves on April 22nd at Turner Field. 5 innings, 7 hits and a walk, but he only gave up 2 runs. Won the game 6-3.
Strike 2 to Nick. It's quickly 0-2. Nick Markakis leading off the game this year, has 5 hits in his first 14 at bats. And he cracks that one toward Conforto in left. He gives ground, and that ball carried a little bit more than he thought it would. Markakis gave it a ride, but he's retired, and that's how the game starts. 1 out. And here's Garcia. Game number 26 for the Braves. Adonis is already the 5th man to hit second for the Braves this year.
He's been doing a good job of getting on base, and he's been getting a hit a game, so why not?
He pops the first pitch he sees to right. Curtis Granderson near the line. 2 out. And here's Freddie Freeman.
As much as Freddie wears the Mets out, this is one guy he hasn't solved. He's looking for his first ever hit against Matt Harvey. 0 for 9.
Freddie had a hit last night. Has 13 hits in his last 8 games. And that's inside and low, even count. David Wright well off the line at third as Harvey delivers, and it's bounced foul by the Mets dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Harvey coming off a 7 strikeout performance last time out. That's his season high. It was against the Reds. Crowd wants him to finish off Freeman with 2 strikes and 2 out. And he can't. Line drive over first and into the right field corner. Freeman on his way to second. That's his first career hit against Matt Harvey. And the Braves have a runner at second with 2 outs.
He's had a great road trip. Hitting with a lot more confidence. Got an off-speed pitch there. And hammered it just over Duda's head. 9 for 20 with 2 homers on the road trip now.
That's his 5th double. And let's see if Kelly Johnson can bring him home. Kelly's hitting cleanup for the 2nd time for the Braves tonight. And that's off the plate. And here's where Matt Harvey has had trouble in the early going this year, with runners in scoring position and with men on base.
Yeah, it's really hard to figure out, but out of the stretch, he's had a lot of problems. Take a look at these situational numbers for Matt Harvey. Bases empty, just fine. Runners get on base, different story. And with runners in scoring position, the highest average allowed by any pitcher in baseball.
That backed up for him for a strike. 2-1 the count.
Well, that angle puts you right in behind the umpire, doesn't it?
Kelly had a good cut, but fouled it back. It's 2-2. A.J. Pierzynski would love a shot at Harvey here in the 1st. And a swing and a miss. A 93-mile-an-hour fastball in a perfect spot ends the Atlanta 1st. The 1st inning, and Joe, it's always a treat, at least for me, to watch Matt Wisler go to work. Tonight he pitches in his 5th game as a starter for the Braves.
And his career numbers against the Mets are outstanding. 3 starts last year, 2-1 with a 2.14 ERA. An excellent line. 21 innings, 18 hits, 4 walks, 16 strikeouts. Hopefully he'll be able to carry some of that good fortune with him into tonight's game. His 4 keys to pitching success. A lot will depend on the early part of this ball game. Early damage. He gave up a bunch of runs to the Red Sox in his last time out. Last night, Fultonevich gave up the 4 runs in the 1st. That was very significant. So try to limit that, and also run support. He's gotten very little. 1.8 on average when he's been in the game in his first 4 starts. He needs a little help.
Curtis Granderson will lead off for the Mets, who are a game and a half behind the Nationals entering tonight's play. And your comment about early damage is worth repeating. The Mets have scored 21 first-inning runs this year. And Granderson's had a hand in a lot of that. No balls, 2 strikes.
94 from Matt there, and Curtis was very late.
Shift on the right side for Granderson as Matt missed up and away. A sinking line drive right to Freddie Freeman, and Granderson's retired for the first out.
All fastballs too. Bartolo Colon can throw 99 pitches over 8 innings in a game and throw 95 fastballs. I think that proves something.
To a man, the Braves coaching staff, the Braves broadcasting staff, the Braves clubhouse raving about the performance of Bartolo Colon last night.
He was so fun to watch.
David Wright hit a home run for the Mets last night, his 3rd of the season. His 1 lifetime hit against Whistler, also a home run. There's a strike. He is airing it out early. That one at 95 miles per hour. That's pitching with some extra rest tonight. His last outing was April 26th against the Red Sox. So that might explain a little of that extra zip on the fastball. But you hope there's not a lot of rust. 3-1 the count. And right toward right center. Smith on the run. He got there. That ball was scalded, but Malix tracked it down for the 2nd out.
Well, he had to get a good jump. That ball was smoked, and it was hit low. And slicing away from him. Nice play by Smith. Again, he made a great play here last night, turning his back to the infield and tracking one down out there by the 408 mark.
Two up, 2 down for Michael Conforto. The Mets left fielder with 18 RBIs and a .337 batting average. And he has found a home in the number 3 spot on Terry Collins' lineup card.
And an excellent first pitch. Get over curveball. When he's had 6 or more days of rest, Matt Whistler's numbers are pretty impressive. Undefeated, .325 ERA. Conforto still hitting .337 coming in, but he struck out 5 of his last 9 at bats, including a couple last night.
I think they should sit in the rest of this game and tomorrow just to think about that.
He's late on that swing. It's obvious that he's tired.
Look at what he's done, though, in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it translates into a great run for the team as well. They won 14 of their last 17.
So a full count. Conforto and Cespedes, the 3 and 4 hitters coming up for New York. Over the course of the season, these spots in opposing lineup cards have given Matt some trouble. Let's hope he avoids it here in the first. But he won't be able to. Cespedes is coming up with a man aboard. First walk of the day for Matt Whistler. And here's Yoenis Cespedes. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
And he has been. He's hitting the jackpot to all parts of the field, too. Most RBIs in the major leagues during the last 16 games with 25. 2-run homer here last night added to those numbers.
Conforto leads at first. And Whistler paints the corner. Strike one. Last night, Cespedes had the Volt green sleeve on his left arm. Not tonight. Good pitch. 0-2.
To say he was sitting on a fastball would be an understatement when his head flies off and shoulder opened up so fast on that swing.
One ball, two strikes. Fly ball center. Malik drifts back. That's the biggest part of the park. And Cespedes and the Mets are done in the first. Matt Whistler takes care of business. We go to the second. No score. Of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's what else is happening around Major League Baseball. Boy, the fans in Chicago, Joe, are being treated to some great early season baseball, aren't they?
Yeah, the Cubs have the great record. So do the White Sox, who lead the American League in team ERA. Meanwhile, in Colorado, not only is that kid Story tearing it up as a rookie at shortstop, but Nolan Arenado now leading in both homers and RBIs in both leagues. What a player. And good for Colorado.
Rockies start play tonight, a game under 500, one game behind the Giants out west. As we head to the second inning, and A.J. Pierzynski at the plate. Giants the only team in the National League West above 500. And back our way, out of play. The Mets broadcast will resume once Ron Darling gets back out from under the desk. He's headed right toward it. Is that a changeup?
Yeah, he's thrown 2 or 3 of them. He threw one to Markakis The second pitch of the game, he threw one to Freddie that got hit for a double, and he just lobbed that one in there at 87.
AJ hooks one into center field. That gets by Neil Walker. And that's the second Atlanta hit. A leadoff single for AJ Pierzynski.
It's kind of funny. All the other teams we've played have been playing a shift on AJ, and that would have been a routine out into the shift. Maybe they forgot.
So Reed Brignac will get a chance to hit. Reed's playing third base tonight. I don't think he liked second base last night.
Literally, he did not like the base.
No, he did not. David Wright with a bouncing ball up the middle. Reed was right behind the second base bag, ready to make the play. The ball hit the bag and bounced up and hit him right in the face, and he got lucky. He turned his head at the last moment. Otherwise, he might have spent the day in the dentist chair. That's yanked foul for a strike.
He said, well, it wasn't like that was the first ball to hit me in the face. First ground ball to ever hit me in the face. He said, I'm okay. I'm from Louisiana. I don't know what that had to do with it. That's what he said, so I just went with it. Probably something to do with gumbo. I don't know.
Harvey missed with that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Braves have had Harvey where you want him. He's in the stretch again. See if they can make some second inning hay. And jump in front for Matt Whistler. Good cut at that pitch and fouled away. 1-2. All the Braves who were brought up yesterday, it was a flurry of transactions day for John Campolella. All of them have had major league experience before, so this is not a first go round for guys like Brignac. Darno has been up here. Tuiasa Sopo has been up here. Of course, Mike Fultonevich started some games for the Braves last year. And a shot down the right field line. That's a fair ball headed for the corner. AJ around second, on his way to third. Granderson has to dig it out and finally does. And the Braves have him at second and third with nobody out. Reed Brignac's first hit as a Brave is a stand-up double.
Very much like Freddie Freeman's, kind of hooked into the corner. And it was an off-speed pitch of some kind. Might have been a slider that didn't break much. He's been having trouble with his slider, if that's what it was.
So a great chance for the Braves. Second and third, nobody out.
87 on that last pitch. Probably was a changeup.
First pitch swing, Ibar pops it up. Conforto in left is coming in, and it's not going to be deep enough to bring home Pierzynski. So Ibar flies out. Now Matt Whistler, the pitcher, is up. Well, Matt maybe can help himself. He's driven home a run this year.
And it was with a sacrifice fly.
He has 2 career runs batted in. Ball 1. Again, this has been the nature of the Braves offense. They get the hits, but they can't string enough of them together to put together a 2 or 3 run inning.
And while other teams are cracking 3-run homers, Braves are not.
Didn't realize this until I read it, but the Braves have actually out-hit their opponents 8 times this year and have lost 5 of those games. That's more losses in that statistical area than any other team in baseball.
I think last night was an example of that. Out-hit the Mets 9-8.
And Harvey's gone 3-0 to the pitcher.
Taking one for sure, and maybe two.
Bo Porter with the sign. A quick word to A.J. Pierzynski, the Braves catcher at third. David Wright stands by the bag. And a bounding ball toward third. Wright has A.J. in a rundown. He's going to stay in it long enough to get one man to third. And Whistler never stopped running, and he's on his way to second base.
Away. Good job by A.J. Good hustle and good coaching at first base by Whistler and Terry Pendleton. 3-1 changeup, rolled over the top of it. And staying in that long enough, Whistler hustled around. Heads up play by Matt.
So the put on Pierzynski is 5-2. Whistler reaches on the fielder's choice. Brignac's at third, and now Malik Smith, the Braves' 9th place hitter, digs in. Alex has 6 hits on the road trip. And that one above the tomahawk. 1 ball, no strikes. David Wright defending against a bunt. He's in on the grass at third base. Matt Harvey a strike away from pitching out of a giant mess.
Yeah, and he's gotten away with a couple of high fastballs so far. His changeup hasn't been good, as we've seen on the swings by Freeman and Brignac.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Terrific road trip for Alex at the plate and in the field.
Back where it came from. Harvey pitches out of trouble. The key at bat, the Ibar pop out with men at second and third. And nobody out, the pitcher behind him. We head to the Mets second, no score.
Of the second inning, and guys, it's raining. I got my umbrella ready to go. And if you're watching the pregame show, you saw that I talked to one of the new guys in the clubhouse, Reed Brignac, and I asked him, you know, what were those emotions when you got that phone call saying that you got called up? And he said, I actually missed the call. He said he was out for dinner, and he didn't even see that the Braves had called him. He got calls from his agent and his manager, and they finally got in touch with him saying, hey, man, you got called up to the show. And here he is, been in the starting lineup for the past 2 days, but he has a lot of big league experience, and hopefully he can bring some of that veteran leadership that this team might need to get rejuvenated energy down there in the ballpark.
That's a good point, Kelsey. Thank you very much. And I'm guessing he was having etouffee and some crawfish.
Probably so.
I'm just glad he doesn't have to settle for gumbo with some really soft ochre in it after last night, after that ball off David Wright's bat. So before we head to the Mets second, as Reed Brignac would probably say, plus ça change. The more things change, the more they stay the same for the Braves offense. Second and third, nobody took French in high school. Two on, nobody out in the second inning. Can't score a run. Wow, that is the best analysis you can offer, right?
After listening to you just parlez-vous your tail off there, I didn't know where to go.
Plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose.
Does that mean back to the play-by-play action?
You got it exactly right. As Lucas Duda leads off for the Mets. Duda's another hot hitter. 5 homers in his last 12 games. Can't project how the game's going to roll around, but that last inning, a spot where having the pitcher batting 8th kind of bit you a bit. With Ibar popping out, hitting 7th. Then you've got the pitcher 8th and Smith 9th.
Happened last night too. First and third one out in the second inning. Boltonevich put the bunt down.
High fly to left. And Garcia is there and makes the play. Duda skies out. 1 man down. Here's Neil Walker. How about those numbers for the lifelong Pirates until this season?
Anytime you go to a new ball club, if you can get off to that kind of start, you sure feel better about your spot on a new team and in the hearts of the fans. Pirates fans are probably looking at that going,
where's that been?
Where's our guy?
Yeah. Pirates are home tonight to face the Cubs again. They had a little fracas last night. 3-hit batsman. Benches emptied. Maybe some carryover from the play-in game last year.
Yeah, there might be some contentious games between those two clubs all year.
18 remain head-to-head between the Cubs and Pirates. Chicago won last night, and their lead is now 4 games over Pittsburgh in the National League Central. 2-1 for Walker. And a sinking strike. Swing and a miss. Slider, and AJ like that. He pointed his glove at Whistler after the execution of that pitch. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, he got a call on a borderline pitch the one before, and then just dropped that one in there. That was a good downer. I don't know if it applies to a pitcher, but it's like he's gaining momentum with every start.
That's why I like watching him pitch. I mean, he's a different guy now than he was last year when he broke in with such an impressive game against the Mets last June. There was a stretch where Matt got knocked around a bit, got put back in the bullpen, and then came out and finished the season on a very positive run for the Braves. And that's carried on this year for him. One ball, one strike. Is that as a hitter? Is that a look you can see? A sense you can see from the batter's box when you face Matt Wisler in a new year?
Not necessarily, but you can tell lack of aggression from aggression, certainly, in how a guy's pitching you. If he's trying to trick you all the time, nibbling all the time, as opposed to a guy who's coming after you with a little added fastball, you know, from what we saw last year.
Like that.
Yeah, that's got good life on it. 94. We didn't see many of those that I recall last season from Matt. He was usually topping out at 92 or so. I'm sure Roger McDowell is enjoying it.
Driven down the right field line, but that's well into the second deck and well foul.
Tell you what, Cabrera on anything middle in, it's almost like he's falling into the Mets dugout. He's getting that bat through so fast and getting away from the plate.
Little pop towards short, and Ibar's got it. And Matt Wisler works a 1-2-3 second. On we go to inning number 3. No score. Time for the general public. Tuesday, May 10th, SunTrust Park season tickets go on sale. Tickets start as little as $6 per game for A-list members, and almost half of the seats can be secured for under $20 per game. Mark your calendars now for May 10th and visit braves.com/SunTrustPark and learn more. We will get home after this road trip, and then our production group gets a guided tour of SunTrust Park on Friday. Can't wait to report what we see.
Yeah, me too.
Well, quite frankly, Matt Harvey's lucky to be in a 0-0 game. The Braves have had 3 runners, make that 4 runners in scoring position in this game, and haven't pushed across a run yet. And he's got the top of the order: Markakis, Garcia, and Freddie Freeman in the top of the 3rd. Got Eric Cooper on the way by. He looks to be all right. No balls, 2 strikes.
Gary Cedarstrom at third base was backpedaling on his heels like Eric really got stunned here. Ooh. And he should have. Boy, direct shot.
Fly ball toward Conforto in left. He'll give ground, and he'll get there. Next played Pepper with him twice. And there are 2 out. And a good chance to talk with Jason Klein, who's the president of product development for Force 3 Pro Gear. That's the mask that Tyler Flowers uses. And he was very appreciative of us showing the mask and the springs and the technology. He told me tonight that mask reduces the concussive effects of a direct hit by up to 50% on a batted ball, or a pitched ball for that matter.
I would think any catcher or umpire would want to look into that.
Bet you will see Tyler Flowers in the lineup tomorrow with Steven Matz on the mound for New York. Adonis Garcia takes outside. It's an even count.
I think the only way I'd get back there to umpires if I had a plywood panel in front of me with just a couple of eye holes cut out. See through.
One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and miss. Second strikeout for Harvey. 2 up and 2 down. Did you play in the era where the umpires had the outside protector in the American League?
Yes, I did. And I can't say that it was that much better or worse for the guys that wear the inside protector across the board now. It must be better the way it is now, or they'd still have the balloon.
Freddie Freeman doubled his first time and popped it out of play. The reason I bring that up, just from a psychological standpoint, I would have to think you'd feel like you have something to hide behind on those foul balls, whereas now you've got to rely on the catcher, and if he moves, you are left wide open for that baseball to find you. Freeman strokes another one toward the gap this time. That's going to bounce off the fence. And Freddie Freeman has a pair of doubles. They've both come with 2 out.
And they've both been smoked.
He's coming to life, and that's real good news. 6 doubles now for the Braves first baseman.
Well, as troublesome as a 2 for 25 start was for him, he is back on track. Man, oh man, is the ball jumping off his bat. About a 2-out knock here.
Kelly Johnson will try to provide it. Harvey got him with a fastball to end the first inning, and a strike to his former teammate, who, if you missed the news last night, along with Eric O'Flaherty, Kelly Johnson received his National League Championship ring before the game yesterday.
Yeah, and as disappointed as Kelly was when the trade was first announced, it turned out to be a very good experience playing here in New York and playing for the Mets, playing in the postseason and the World Series.
Yeah, Kelly said just being able to enjoy New York as a quote-unquote resident here, rather than getting to town, staying in your hotel, going to the ballpark. He said fantastic experience. People were great. Of course, when you're winning and playing in New York, there's nothing like it, he said. 1-2 pitch in the air toward Conforto. He's going back, still going back. He's going to have room, and that retires the side. The Braves get another 2-out hit. Can't cash it in. No score. Home third coming up.
Atlanta Braves Baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, the Georgia Lottery, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Misty night in New York where the Braves and Mets play in Game 2 of the series. Whistler and Harvey are dueling. Whistler has yet to allow a hit to the Mets offense, which will feature Kevin Plawecki starting off the home third. Plawecki getting extended playing time because Travis d'Arnaud has a bum shoulder. That's foul. Quickly 0-2.
You know, when you watch Whistler work tonight by comparison to Fultonevich last night, Whistler's working quickly, but he's not rushing. And last night it looked like Mike was rushing so fast to get the ball back and get into the windup.
I asked him about that before the game, and he said, looking back, yeah, I was in way too big a hurry. He was averaging about 13 seconds between pitches. He just said the excitement of the moment, getting back to the big leagues and pitching up here for the first time in 7 months. It was quite literally a blur for him.
And remember, too, that he was told he might not pitch again. You know, there were no guarantees once he had that surgery that he was going to be able to return to baseball. So quite an exciting day for him, to say the least.
New bat for Plawecki, and 1 ball, 2 strikes to him. Mets pitcher Matt Harvey next, then Curtis Granderson. So far, Matt has followed through on one of Joe's Ford keys tonight. That's limit the early damage. He's 2 hitters away from getting through the lineup a first time here in New York. And he just drilled Plawecki with a 2-2 pitch.
Mets catcher's got a protective guard on the back of his left arm and elbow, but I don't think it helped there. I think that got mostly tricep back there.
So Harvey a chance to help himself. He's 0 for 4 with a sacrifice. Strike 1.
That early damage thing too, Chip, is, as we all know, the Braves don't score a ton of runs. So if you fall behind early, it just magnifies how difficult it is for Atlanta to catch up when they don't have the quick strike ability of a lot of homers. Seems like you're always fighting uphill.
Don't get cute. He's trying to give you an out. That was tipped into AJ's glove. And now Harvey behind in the count. He went around, and a poor result for Matt Harvey, a great result for Matt Whistler. Harvey can't get the bunt down. 1 on, 1 out. Granderson lined out his first time up.
Braves got a shift on for Granderson, expecting him to pull the ball on the ground. And with that, and a catcher running at first, might behoove the Braves to have Freeman play behind Plawecki just a little bit. It's playing him to pull already.
Back up the middle. High bar to Brignac, who covers. The throw to first is in time. That's a double play. And a hit batsman does not harm Matt Whistler.
A little 6-5-3.
See it all the time, don't you? Good shift and a good result. We go to the fourth. Is the man leading off the fourth for the Braves. He's got a hit tonight. In fact, Atlanta's got 4 of them against Matt Harvey. But he's been able to pitch out of trouble in every inning. Freddie Freeman 2 for 2, his first 2 career hits against Harvey, both of them doubles, but they've come with 2 outs. So let's see what AJ can do his second time up. First pitch swing and a fly ball towards Cespedes in center. He'll gallop to his left. And there's the first out.
AJ just missed that. We're halfway through the second time through the order. This is when Harvey usually buckles down a little bit. First time through, decent average. Third time through, they tend to capitalize if he tires a bit. But Braves have already had some knocks against him. Just need to capitalize, as you said.
Reed Brignac's first hit as a Brave was a double, and he takes a strike. A little bit late, 0-2.
Really making some mistakes with his changeup and getting away with it. Gave up a couple of doubles early on it and left that one out over the plate.
Still 0-2. Brignac spoiled a couple of pitches. And took that one way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Mystic, Connecticut's where he's from. It sounds like a hard place to get to.
Good at bat continues for Reed here in the 4th. To left and playable for Conforto. 2 outs.
Been busy.
Seven flyouts from the Braves offense so far tonight. Wet night like tonight, you're really going to have to mash it to get it out of here. Here's Ibar. Braves had runners 2nd and 3rd in the 2nd, and Eric popped one up to shallow left. Not deep enough to get home a run. And a strike. That buckled him.
What a breaking ball too.
Ibar didn't mean to, but he's still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Eric had a couple of hits last night. One off Cologne, one off Familia.
And a swing and a miss.
There was a good slider.
His 3rd strikeout, one of his best pitches of the night. Braves out in order in the 4th inning on Matt Harvey's big slider. Right Conforto and Cespedes coming up. Remarkable what David is trying to do and how he's trying to keep his swing on time. We know all about the bad back and the limitations physically that presents. As a result, mechanically, he's made some changes to his swing for the Mets.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a leg kick early on, April 23rd. You see this here in Atlanta versus the swing on the right last night. Got his front foot down quickly last night. His timing's better. He's pulling the ball more and certainly driving the ball better than he was earlier in the year with that high leg kick.
And he has to do that because he can't take hundreds of swings in the batting cage because of the bad back.
If he's going to try something, it's a very limited practice to see if it works. And he and Kevin Long, their hitting coach, have been working on things just like that, and Kevin knows that whatever work David puts in, that's all he's limited to do.
The Mets will be very careful with Wright's playing time. He may not play tomorrow, for example. Day game after a night game. In an effort to keep him as healthy as they can. So we'll have to wait and see about that. He's ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. And now 3-0 as Whistler starts his second trip through the Mets lineup. One thing that was plaguing David Wright was a very high amount of strikeouts. But he can get on base. That's his 16th walk. Wright with a .383 on base percentage despite 30 strikeouts in 80 at bats this year. So trouble afoot in the Mets' fourth. Wright's at first for Conforto. Two walks and a hit batsman. The only offense allowed by Whistler so far to the Mets tonight.
Leadoff man reached last inning after being hit by a pitch, but then the pitcher followed and got an out. He's got the heart of the order up now.
Popped him up. Alex Smith will look into the rainy skies and he'll make the catch.
One of the reasons that Matt Whistler's had a hard time putting a W in the column is he's had some really tough draws. First start was against Jaime Garcia, the Cardinals, then Tanner Roark threw a gem against the Braves with the Nationals. His next start he was opposed by Clayton Kershaw and then David Price.
Well, Price did a strikeout 14.
Yeah, and tonight he gets Matt Harvey. Nobody said it was going to be easy. You know, that was what kind of ran through my mind last night when they did such damage to Fultonevich in the first inning and they were just annihilating some pitches. Is that when you're pitching in the minor leagues, you might run into 2 or 3 guys, maybe even 4 in the lineup that, you know, you have to work around and be careful to. And you get up here and you start throwing 97 down the middle. These guys will tear that up and down the lineup. There are no soft spots. So it is quite an eye-opening experience to go from one level to the next to this level and see the difference in play.
1 strike for Yoenis Cespedes. We're in the Mets' fourth. And he pops one up. Markakis broke back, but he'll recover. 2 outs.
So you know that when you get to this level, these are the greatest hitters of a baseball on the planet, spread out across 30 teams. And then you run into a team like the Mets, who are the hottest hitters on the planet of all those 30 teams, and then you really got something to deal with.
Yeah, you think all the top 8 are on one club.
Right.
But that's a fascinating point you make, because I know you've talked about it from a hitter's perspective. As Duda digs in, the biggest challenge for Malik Smith when he got up here, the utter relentlessness of the quality of pitching that he's going to face. Well, we sometimes forget the same thing applies to a pitcher too, especially a young one.
It does. These young guys that have this unbelievable ability and have big arms. I mean, we talk all the time about teams and we got 5 or 6 guys throwing 95 plus. That's not enough. Not at this level. You've got to be able to locate. You've got to be able to have some secondary pitches. Just as we saw proven last night right away.
Yeah. David Wright is a sneaky base runner. You got to pay attention to him. He's stolen a couple of bags. As Duda sprays one out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lucas Duda, 106 home runs as a Met. Ed Kranepool is next on the list for him. He had 118 of them. Popped up. Brignac comes in. He's underneath. And Matt Whistler, with the heart of the order coming up, works around a leadoff walk to David Wright. By the way, the Mets don't have a hit yet. We head to the 5th. It's brought to you by Mazda.
Both pitchers firing shutouts through 4 innings. Matt Whistler, a couple of walks and a hit batter, but no hits allowed. Braves were unable to capitalize on some opportunities in the 1st and 2nd inning against Matt Harvey. Early in the 3rd inning too, another 2-out double by Freeman.
Harvey's gone 5 innings or more in 25 consecutive games. His longest outing this year is 6 innings. He starts the 5th with the Braves pitcher. Then a big cut, didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Longest outing of the year by any Mets starter was last night. 8 innings for Colon.
To first, and Duda is there near the line. And Whistler's retired. He's shaking the hands as the Bumblebees got him on a cold night. 1 up, 1 down. Malik Smith. is coming up for the Braves. That was a big win for Bartolo Colon last night. An historic one. He passed Pedro Martinez. Is now the second winningest pitcher from the Dominican Republic in Major League history with 220 lifetime wins.
I was listening to Kevin Seitzer talk about him after the game last night. Kevin was with Cleveland when Colon first broke in and talking about how hard he threw, throwing 97, 98, but had no idea where it was going.
Bet that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not easy, but boy, he sure makes it look easy.
I know. And as we were talking last night, he doesn't care if you hit the ball. He's not trying to prevent you from hitting it.
Yeah, you had the line of the night. Yeah, Bartolo working on an 18 hitter with no runs.
He was fine with it. And that's evidenced by his willingness to throw the ball down the middle at 87, 88 to 92, somewhere in that range, and see what happens.
Everybody's got to pitch their game their way, but boy, I'd be inclined to stick a tape of that in and say, do this. As Malix drives one toward left, Conforto on the run, still going. That ball is high off the wall. That's a fair ball. It ricochets back toward the infield. Malix is going to try for three, and he's going to make it. That ball might have hit above the orange line, up above the wall. And this one's going to be reviewed by the umpiring crew, and it might be a home run for Malix Smith.
That concrete above the orange line and to the right of the foul line is a home run. And that's where it hit. That's a home run. That is Malix Smith's first big league homer. I think they ought to let him go back to home plate and run the bases. Good jog.
Might as well, yeah. So Malix Smith, it appears, has hit an opposite field home run right down the line into the left field corner.
They're showing it on the big screen here, and the Mets fans all just groaned. Oh, yeah.
So this is a crew chief review, a boundary call review, as they were called when replay first began in the major leagues.
Well, Gary Cederstrom is the crew chief, and he was the guy on the third base line, and he saw that ball come off like a shot.
And it is the first big league home run for Malix Smith. And I'll bet you that was worth the wait.
Well, it's a short trot, but another one. I mean, he's had so many odd firsts, like his first game when he got cracked in the head by his helmet. Now his first home run, he only gets to trot from third base.
So the Braves strike first against Matt Harvey on Malix Smith's first big league homer. And that bounces up there to Nick Markakis, who's flied out to left twice. I would say this has been quite a road trip for Malix Smith. Games at Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, his first visit to New York as a big leaguer, and now his first homer. And he's had a great trip. That's his 7th hit in 13 at bats. Not to mention the excellent work he's done defensively in center field. And the ball got away and left. Not sure if that came from the stands. Must have. Because if it came from the bullpens, that would have been a very, very wild pitch.
Somebody's got a good arm.
Yeah. So there's your run, Matt Whistler. And Markakis walks on 4 straight. And here's the trouble zone for Matt Harvey.
Look at the difference in the first 4 innings versus his work after that. Oh, goodness. That almost strike you as not being in shape, you know, running out of gas.
Hard to figure for sure. Mets trying to figure it out. As Adonis swings the first pitch and hits it toward right. Granderson is there, and 2 are out. And now a real dilemma. Matt Harvey has not solved Freddie Freeman. Braves first baseman has 2 doubles in tonight's game. His first 2 career hits against Matt Harvey. No balls and a strike. And that's bounced in front of the Mets dugout. Harvey ahead 0-2.
Those 2 pitches were an obvious effort to try to keep Freddie from getting his arms extended. Tied him up a little bit.
Plawecki can't find it. The ball's in the right-hand batter's box. And Markakis takes second on a wild pitch.
Well, that's good. It also could be bad in that he may elect to just kind of pitch around Freddie here. Freddie's got to get a good pitch to hit. They've got a base open now. Ow. That hurt.
The home run allowed by Harvey is only the 12th long ball this Mets staff has allowed all year. The next closest team is the Nationals, who've allowed 15 coming into play tonight. And it's Malik Smith who drove it above the line and left. And now 2-2. Sharply hit, but Walker got a friendly hop and makes the throw to first. Malik Smith, what a road trip for the Braves rookie outfielder. His first big league home run. An opposite field shot upon review. It's 1-0 Atlanta halfway through game 2.
Winter Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
More history tonight. But you know, Malik Smith is thinking, I can't wait to take a real home run trot around the bases after his first one was delayed by 58 seconds after video review.
Well, he was trying real hard to stretch that 90-foot trot into as long as he could. But I know he's excited just the same.
So Matt Whistler now staked to a 1-run lead. He has the bottom part of the Mets order coming up here in the 5th. Neil Walker struck out his first time. He'll be followed by Asdrubal Cabrera. And ball 1 to the Mets second baseman. Ripped to right, and Markakis is there.
Boy,
one man down.
Good jump by Nick on that, and he was playing him pretty shallow.
Asdrubal Cabrera is the hitter. Love how Matt's going after these guys. He's not done an awful lot of nibbling. Yes, he's walked 2 men, but he's not been afraid to throw strike 1.
They've hit some balls on the nose. Let's
Yep, that's true.
be fair there. They've only hit 1 ball on the ground. That turned into a 6-5-3 double play with a shift on. Everything else has been in the air.
Cabrera popped out his first time up. That ended the Mets second. That's the lone 1-2-3 inning that Matt Whistler has faced, or I should say the perfect inning Matt has faced. He only faced 3 hitters in that inning that concluded with a 6-5-3 double play, but he hit a batter to start that frame.
Good hook.
Little flare into center is going to drop for Asdrubal Cabrera. That's the first Mets hit of the game. It's a funny game, isn't it? You can hit 7 balls right on the button and they're caught, and then you have one off the end of the bat and find some grass.
That was a breaking ball. He kind of stayed up and he just fought it off. Now get a ground ball.
Got the catcher up there, Kevin Plawecki. There's the ground ball. There's the start. There's the finish. Another double play. Good call, Joe. 4-6-3 and out goes New York in the 5th. Whistler maintains his 1-0 lead. unstoppable force right now, Jerome. He's 5-0 on the year. And they've not lost back-to-back games yet as Chicago. They won 7-2 last night.
And did I hear that Jason Hayward's battling something now when the Braves left town?
I think it was a wrist problem for Jason Hayward. He's been in the throes of an extended slump. And a shot by Kelly Johnson right back up the middle off Matt Harvey, and that's how the Braves' 6th inning begins.
Throw it and duck. Had a little sizzle on it. He hit the ball hard his last time up.
Second time tonight the Braves have put the leadoff man aboard. Let's see if A.J. Pierzynski can chase him around. A.J.'s 1 for 2. He doubled back in the second, or excuse me, singled back in the second, and he's flied out as well. That's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner goes, pitch down and in. Plawecki's throw is too high, and Kelly Johnson steals a base. His first of the year.
Weren't paying attention to him, and he got a good jump.
Another chance for the Braves to add to their run total. They're 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position to this point. That one's headed for the gap. That's going to take care of business. Kelly Johnson can stroll home. A.J. Pierzynski with a double, and the Braves lead Matt Harvey 2-0.
Well, there's been some solid contact tonight from the Braves against Matt Harvey. 4 doubles and a homer now. AJ drives him in from second. Now let's see if Grignac can get AJ over to third.
Way high. And now Plawecki out for a visit. Braves trying to snap Matt Harvey's 2-game winning streak. They lead 2-0. RBIs from Smith and AJ, and a fly ball to center. Cespedes drifts back. There's the catch. Pierzynski's going to try. Here he comes to third. The throw is not in time. Right on the money, but just a little late.
That was impressive. Brings back memories of when he was with the A's and picked that ball up down the left field line and threw it on the fly to home plate for an out. Got himself in a good position to throw, and on the fly just missed him. Run, AJ, run. Tag was on the backside. That was close. Just plowing some ground there too.
Dan Warthen is the Mets pitching coach. He buys some time for their bullpen, which has just gotten busy. Eric Ibar is 0 for 2 tonight. Matt Whistler is the man on deck. Hansel Robles is the Mets reliever working.
Similar situation earlier tonight. Ibar swung at the first pitch, popped up.
That one gets through Plawecki. AJ's going to try, and he's going to make it standing up. It's 3-0. A wild pitch, second of the night for Matt Harvey.
That went right through the 5-hole, I think. Yeah, he tried to get over and get in front of it, right between his legs.
So you heard somebody in the Braves dugout say to AJ when he got to the dugout steps, showing off the wheels.
Yeah.
Ball 3.
Remember, AJ has a stolen base this year, on top of all the base running heroics we just saw.
Ibar takes ball 4. Second walk for Harvey in as many innings. So Matt Whistler, your 4 keys right on target. Limited the early damage, didn't give up a hit to the Mets through the first 4. And the Braves have given him 3 runs to play with now. The bunt is popped foul. No chance for Duda to get it.
Somebody missed a sign. Ibar was running, never even turned around and looked. He thought the steal was on, and Whistler thought the bunt was on.
Strike 2 for Matt. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Braves against Matt Harvey. No runs, 1 hit for the Mets against Matt Whistler, who's trying for his 3rd career win against New York.
Braves pitchers have done a good job in this situation, getting runners over. Did a real good job with it last year, but not this time.
Whistler
One of the things that they do is they get out early in Turner Field with a pitching machine and really throw the ball hard to make it harder to practice their bunting.
Whistler is strikeout victim number 4 for Harvey, and here's Malik Smith. His first major league hit came against Max Scherzer. His first major league homer against Matt Harvey tonight. Oh, Harvey almost threw that away.
Good pitch to run on this next one. Had it gotten picked off.
A left-hander's gotten up in the Mets bullpen as well. Robles is a right-hander. He's still throwing here in the 6th. Pitch downstairs. Harvey now 94 pitches on the night. And it's the middle innings that seemingly trip him up in each of his starts. He has thrown a lot of pitches between the 5th and 6th.
Antonio Bastardo has joined him.
Two balls, no strikes. Smith's homer accounted for the Braves' run in the 5th. Kelly Johnson and A.J. Pierzynski have scored here in the 6th. And bouncer toward the ball boy foul. Nice stop. He is paying a lot of attention to Ibar.
And even the Mets fans are booing him.
Alex didn't get it. It's 2-2. Harvey is due to hit first when the Mets come up. This figures to be his last inning, trailing 3-0.
Might be his last hitter if he doesn't get him.
Runner goes. It's fouled away. Yeah, with Markakis next, that's why Bastardo is up. Popped up left side. Right gives chase over near the Braves dugout, and no play.
And a Braves fan got that one. Good deal.
He's from Snellville
and paid a price.
Yeah.
Don't undress, sir. I'm sure you've got a bruise, but we believe you.
Another 2-2 pitch. Little line drive into left off the bat of Mallex Smith. A 2-hit game for the Braves rookie center fielder. And you're right, Joe, that's the end of the line for Matt Harvey. David has slain Goliath. Little Mallex Smith with 2 hits, including his first big league home run, is part of the reason why the Braves have chased Matt Harvey in inning number 6. A dark night for the Dark Knight. 3-0 Atlanta, your score in Game 2 in New York. Head. Yes, it's as funny as you imagine it. Go to Braves.com/tickets and get your tickets today.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So it's not the left-hander to face Nick Markakis, rather the right-hander, Hansel Robles.
Yeah, his numbers actually better against left-handers than against right so far this year. Good arm, 93 to 97 fastball, slider. 3 walks to 15 strikeouts. You like that in 11 innings. And there are the splits that are better for lefties.
And he wears an excellent number. New York got him as a non-drafted free agent in 2008. 57 games out of the bullpen last year for New York. The league hit just 190 against him, so he's tough. And that's high to Markakis, who has flied to left twice and has walked once. Runners go. Huge jump, and Markakis saw that and took a strike. I mean, Ibar was halfway to third base in the middle of his windup.
Yeah, David Wright didn't even bother to go over and cover third. He knew there wasn't going to be a throw.
Or stretch, I should say. I mean, that was easy pickings for the Braves. And now a hit could score 2 runs. That's 3 stolen bases in the inning for the Braves. Kelly Johnson had 1, Ibar has 1, and now Alex Smith has 1. To the right side, and Walker to a knee, and that puts out the fire. The Braves get 2 more runs. A.J. Przinsky had a big hit for Atlanta, and a wild pitch brought home the 3rd run of the game. We head to the home 6th. Matt Whistler leads the Mets 3-0. Terrific. The Braves have given him a 3-run lead, and now in the home 6th he'll face Alejandro De Aja. He bats for Hansel Robles. And Whistler strike after strike after strike tonight. Very sharp. In the air to left. Garcia back, still going back, leaps at the track and makes the grab.
How about that catch? Way to go, Adonis. Yeah, so put a charge in this ball. Timed his jump perfectly. Nice catch.
Granderson's 0 for 2. He's hit into a double play and takes the strike.
It's not going to work. I'm not going to wear it.
No balls and a strike. Tough 6th inning for Matt Whistler. You've got the top of the order now. Anderson, Wright, Conforto. There is one out. Make him hit his way on, and Freddie will lay that one, and it's into right field.
Sharply hit, a one hopper. Maybe one play he should have made there.
And it's scored an error. And here's David Wright. Freeman's 4th error of the year. And here's the Mets captain. He's lined to center and walked. This is the last guy you want to see up there in run scoring situations when you play the Mets.
He's against the Braves among active players. 36 home runs.
Good hook.
Yeah.
0-2. Strike 3, another one.
Backed it up.
What a call and what execution. Perfect spot for strikeout number 3. He throws David Wright.
I don't know that he has thrown back-to-back breaking balls tonight. What a good one.
Now Michael Conforto's coming up there. He's walked and popped out. Brignac's getting a little help from Ibar with regards to who's going to cover on a ball hit to the right side. He's also getting some positioning help from Ibar with Conforto up there. been a man in motion this entire at bat.
Wright led off the 4th inning with a walk, and he was able to get 3 fly ball outs consecutively from Conforto, Cespedes, and Duda in the 4th in the heart of the order. And he's doing a real good job of keeping the left-handed hitters honest with that fastball.
Three balls and a strike with Cespedes on deck.
See how aggressive he is here.
Ground ball into the shift. Kelly's got it. The throw to first is in time. And Whistler pitches around the air. Boy, has he been impressive tonight. 6 shutout innings in New York. 3-0. Braves lead it.
Presented by Mazda, Georgia Power, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Matt Whistler has one-hit the Mets through 6 innings. Malik Smith has hit his first Major League homer tonight. And the Braves added 2 runs in the 6th inning to chase Mets starter Matt Harvey. Now Antonio Bastardo is the 3rd New York pitcher to work, and this is his 11th game.
And you can see now he's going to be working perhaps at least 1 full inning, maybe a little bit more. And his numbers against lefties, they're 2 for 15, a 133 mark.
He's got a righty to start the 7th. That's Adonis Garcia, who's 0 for 3. And he didn't get a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Strike 1.
Yeah, low 90s fastball, slider, and a change.
Bastardo's a guy that always gave the Braves trouble when he was with the Phillies. Last year he pitched with the Pirates and was brilliant. And he just took care of Adonis on 3 pitches, 1 away in the 7th. 66 games with the Pirates last year. Bastardo went 4-1 with a 2.98 ERA. 64 strikeouts over 57 1/3 innings.
Great job. Helped get them to the postseason, even if it was just for 1 game. You know, when you look at this Mets pitching staff, you realize, I mean, there's a lot of hype about their rotation, but it's a solid staff throughout. So you figure it's tough to get hits. But oddly, against arguably the best rotation and the best staff in the National League, the Braves are hitting .288 against the Mets and .212 against everybody else.
And that's again going back to our earlier conversation. The Braves have had games where they've had more hits than the Mets, but struggle to score more than a couple of runs. Tonight they've out hit New York 8-1. Whistler's been brilliant. And they scratched together an offense in the 6th inning. 2 runs on 3 hits, a walk, 3 stolen bases, and a pass ball, or a wild pitch, I beg your pardon. Skipped up there, and Freddie took it. 3 balls and a strike. A little pop toward third, and David Wright's going to get there for the 2nd out. Kelly Johnson scored the 2nd Braves run. He singled to start inning number 6.
And then stole a base and scored on AJ's double. And instead it's going to be Jeff Francoeur.
Chance to get Jeff a couple of at-bats tonight, perhaps, with the left-hander on the mound tomorrow for New York. You figure Jeff will be in the lineup. Base is empty, 2 outs. Bastardo missed, 1 ball, no strikes.
His last 8 starts, Jeff's gone 10 for 31. But just 1 for 12 on this trip. See if he gets a green light here.
3 balls, no strikes with a 3-run Atlanta lead working. Jeff takes a walk.
He's walking. He's a walking man now.
Yes, he is. I think his first time up for the Braves this year. He walked. Let's see how many that is for Francoeur.
It's like a mid-season number. It's like 4.
It is 4. How many times did he walk last year? I'm going to look that up. 13 times last year. That was at 326 at bats, so he's way ahead of his pace. Good for him. A.J. Przinsky's the hitter, a man at first. A.J. a 2-hit night. And Duda smothered that. Nice play. And that sends us to the 7th inning stretch. Braves 3, Mets nothing.
Here in New York, but the scoreboard looks nice, and so does the Braves injury report. We did get an update on Ender Inciarte and Gordon Beckham from earlier. Now, Inciarte did fly out to Gwinnett today. He will play there tomorrow, and then they're off Thursday. He'll play in Gwinnett Friday, and they hope to have him back for Saturday in Atlanta versus the Diamondbacks. And then Gordon Beckham, he gets to Gwinnett on Saturday. They hope to have him back for the Phillies series on Tuesday. So, you know, Freddie Gonzalez is going to have a problem in center field there with Malik Smith playing so well. But, guys, it's a good problem to have, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think so, Kelsey. And it's good news that after losing Inciarte so early in the season, to know that he's making progress and getting close. Francoeur stays in the game to play left. Daniel Castro is checked in to play third, and Brignac moves to second.
But the man of the night is the man on the mound, and that hasn't changed at all. Matt Whistler's thrown a one-hitter. Cespedes, Duda, and Neil Walker are coming up. Through 6 innings, and this at bat with Cespedes, Whistler's thrown 81 pitches, 46 strikes. Braves have turned a couple of double plays behind him. He has struck out 3. And he's been painting all night. Even count. That fastball at 92. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's still got a lot left in the tank. Fell behind 2-0 to a powerful hitter, but he made good pitches. There's no reason to be silly aggressive and just throw it down the middle of these guys. He's been too fine tonight, too good tonight, hitting corners. Keep with it.
Popped him up, had him reaching for it. Markakis is underneath, and Cespedes is retired. He's flied out 3 times now. There's the first out in the 7th.
And there's a prime example of what I'm talking about. He doesn't want to walk him, but he needs to throw a strike. Make it a good strike, and he did.
Here's Lucas Duda. And outside. It's funny how sometimes a pitcher just has another team's number. Very early, Matt Wisler has had the number of the Mets. His big league debut June 19th last year. 8 innings, 1 run, and no walks. He was the first Brave starter to win his first career game since Kenshin Kawakami did that back in 2009. 88 pitches in those 8 innings. Lined right at Ibar. And a snow cone on a cold night. Not sure if he caught it or the ball caught him. Brignac saying, "You all right?"
Ay caramba. And barely stayed in his glove. That's 12 outs by either fly ball or line drive.
Walker's 0 for 2, including a strikeout. And Whistler gets ahead of him aggressively. Strike 1.
Model of consistency tonight, Matt Wisler. That is right where AJ wanted it. AJ was patting the ground. He wanted that breaking ball right on the dirt, right at the back point of the plate. And that's where it was delivered.
And he's been pointing that glove at Matt Wisler as a salute an awful lot tonight.
Sure has.
0-2. And now a ball and 2 strikes. It'll be fascinating to talk to AJ tonight about Whistler's performance after this game. I'm sure he'll give glowing reports.
No real stress tonight. A 19-pitch first inning. Really only because there was a walk involved there to Conforto.
Swing and a miss. How about that pitch? Matt Wisler made a good hitter look bad and earns his 4th strikeout. And this game moves to the 8th. All Atlanta tonight. 3-0. Braves lead it.
Sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Fans, follow Braves Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. This is one you'll want to download more than once and keep it on the hard drive. As well as Matt Wisler has pitched through 7. He's throwing a one-hit shutout at this fearsome Mets offense tonight. Reed Brignac's had some fun on the bases. Just broke his bat. Little pop to the center of the diamond. And that'll be handled by Bastardo. The barrel of the bat ended out by Terry Pendleton. It just absolutely exploded.
Split right down the middle.
Tell you what, that's something baseball has done an excellent job in concert with the bat manufacturers. Remember how horrific it was a few years ago, all the maple bats that were exploding and ending up in the stands and becoming missiles toward the players? We don't see that too often anymore.
Not nearly as much, that's for sure.
Base is empty for Ibar. Eric has walked, stolen a base, struck out, and popped out. It's off the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. Washington's losing tonight, 3-2. Game's in Kansas City. Giants and Reds tied 1-1 in the 8th at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Jeff Samardzija started that game for the Giants. Let's pop back toward us. There's an amazing stat on the Reds I read today. Their bullpen has given up a run or more in 20 straight games. And they've allowed 20 home runs in that stretch.
Wow.
Which is a
might explain why they're in last place. In
streak that's gone 116 years until it was matched this year. Out of play foul. Still 0-2. $27,356 with us in New York tonight. Wow.
That's why they call him Eric Ibar.
Right down the middle, man. Eric will take it with that good eye. With 1 out, nobody aboard. Cabrera at short. 2 outs. Stick with us after the game. We'll have Braves Live presented by Xfinity. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez. I'm sure we'll check in with the man coming to the plate, Matt Wisler. Malik Smith made some personal history with his first big league homer, so Kelsey will be a busy lady afterward, interviewing what we hope will be a very happy Braves clubhouse. It's 3-0 here in Game 2. Braves in front. Up and away to Wisler. Phillies are in St. Louis tonight. No score in that game in the 5th inning at Busch Stadium. Phillies had their winning streak broken last night, 10-3, with Adam Wainwright hitting a second deck home run, a 3-run homer for the Cardinals yesterday.
Picked up his second win in the process.
Tonight it's Nola and Waka in St. Louis. That's a good matchup. Here Matt Whistler's outdueled Matt Harvey to this point. 2 balls and a strike. And popped up right side. Granderson near the stands is not able to make a play. And a fan from Darien, Georgia made the play.
I'll be darned.
See him with a hat in the middle of that scrum? There he is.
Good for him. Well, he came a long way, didn't he?
Two and two. Strike 3. And Bastardo works a second shutout inning of relief. We head to the home 8th, bottom part of the lineup card up for New York. Public on Tuesday, May 10th. SunTrust Park season tickets go on sale, and they start at as inexpensively as $6 per game for A-list members, and almost half of the seats can be secured for just $20 per game. Mark your calendar. May 10th is the day, and go to Braves.com/SunTrustPark to learn even more. Asdrubal Cabrera leads off for New York. He's 1 for 2 in the game. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's significant since every other guy in the lineup is 0 for something.
He's the man with the lone New York hit. It came with 1 out in the 5th.
Braves have some activity in the bullpen just in case, but still only 93 pitches for Matt. Early in Cervinka loosening up. And he's still got a 92 heater working when he wants it.
Three balls and a strike. Plawecki and then the pitcher's spot. All the available pinch hitters for New York are right-handed. Flores, Lagares, Campbell, and Rene Rivera, the backup catcher. Full count.
Took off 4 signs there before he nodded yes and threw a fastball. I don't know if AJ's telling him to nod no or not. We'll see. Took off the slider. Stayed with the fastball.
Pitch number 8 for Cabrera, leading off the 8th for New York. He'll see a 9th.
If nothing else, he's doing a good job of running up the pitch count. .115 was his high. That was against the Dodgers.
Rip toward right. Markakis back. Got there. 1 out. Good battle by Cabrera, but Whistler subdues him. Easy for me to say, and here's Plawecki.
I tell you what, Matt's outfielders have done a good job for him tonight. There have been some hard hit balls. Adonis Garcia made a terrific catch going back. Nick just made a good play. Everybody's tracking everything down.
Plawecki's been hit by a pitch, and he's hit into a double play. That's a little low. Juan Lagares has grabbed a bat. He's on deck. Little cue shot. Whistler's got it with bare hand and a perfect throw. 2 outs.
This must have been sinking. Oh, it was a breaking ball. That was cued.
Lagares at 306. Steve, right call. Popped up right side. Freeman gives chase onto the warning track, takes a peek. He's got a play, and he's got it. And Matt Whistler is through 8 hittings with a 1-hit shutout in New York. Get your child signed up to attend the Braves baseball camps, the ultimate major league experience for boys and girls of all abilities aged 5 through 13. Braves baseball camps offer one-week sessions in locations all around the Atlanta area. Go to braves.com/camps today. Big night for Matt Whistler, big night for Malik Smith. Alex earns tonight Toyota's key play.
He got the Braves on the board for this opposite field shot that was originally ruled a triple. Upon further review, the umpires overruled themselves, and he got to trot at least 90 feet on his first big league homer.
This is Logan Verrett. In his 8th game, he's been terrific. 3-0, a sub-1 ERA. And a strike to Malik Smith, who's got that average up to 241 now. He's homered, he's singled, he's stolen a base.
Verrett's an occasional starter when they need one. 4-pitch guy. Fastball, curveball, slider, change, throws in the low 90s. Good sinker.
Swing and a drive towards center, and Cespedes glides over and makes the grab. Alex is squaring the ball up a lot more consistently, it seems.
Absolutely, a little more confidence. He's not jumping at the ball quite as much. He's waiting, staying back. Looks good.
Back to the top, Nick Markakis 0 for 3 with a walk. And Verrett missed down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs beat the Pirates 7-1. That's a final from PNC Park. Here it's 3-0 Braves in the 9th.
So that lead gets bumped up to 5 games.
To third. Oh, David Wright, a slick pickup and the throw to first.
Nick's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Nothing to show for it. I don't know if that means he's coming in or not. The last complete game 1 hit shutout thrown by a Braves pitcher was almost 5 years ago. Jair Jurgens, July 1st, 2011.
Slow roller. We're going to find out in a second. David Wright with a bare hand. Beautiful play. Did Duda hold the bag? Yes, he did. Daniel Castro is nabbed at first, and that will retire the side. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-0 Atlanta over the Mets. Braves Live presented by Xfinity is coming up. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez, Matt Whistler, and a cast of thousands, we hope, after Arodys Vizcaíno finishes off Matt Whistler's gem tonight.
Matt's not going to get to finish this. A one-hit shutout over 8 innings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He was brilliant. A little over 100 pitches, 106. His season high was 115. Outstanding outing, something the Braves really needed, and a chance for him to get his first win.
Not a second guess in any way, shape, or form. You've got Vizcaíno, who can throw 97 miles an hour. He's your closer. But with only 106 pitches, had Cabrera not picked up the hit, is Whistler going back for the ninth?
I would guess he would be. If Cabrera hadn't run the count up on him in the 8th inning, cost him 8 or 9 pitches, whatever it was, he might still be out there.
Yeah, you made that point at the time, so that's a good call. So instead of going through a Mets lineup a 4th time, the Braves turn the ball over to Vizcaíno to protect a 3-0 lead, with Granderson, Wright, and Conforto coming up for the Mets. And a strike at 96 miles an hour from Arodys. Strike outside corner. Curtis took it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Granderson overmatched at 98 and right under the letters. Great start to the ninth. 1 out.
One thing about this Mets team, the way they've been going and what we've been talking, is with all the home run power they have, last thing you want to do is have somebody get on base, get something going, where with their quick strike ability they turn the game around.
That strikeout makes it a little tougher for New York as David Wright stands in. 1 out in the ninth. Wright has lined out, struck out, and walked. And a check swing. Strike 1.
That was either very defensive on the first pitch or very late.
Sharply hit to third. Castro played it off his chest. It dropped to his feet, and he made a nice play. 2 out.
Nice stop. Hot corner, and he got a hot hop. Nice recovery.
So Michael Conforto is the final hope for New York. He has walked, popped out, and grounded out. You are seeing glimpses of the present and the future for the Braves in this game. Mallex Smith, Matt Whistler, and now Arodys Vizcaíno. That has dazzled New York again over 8 innings. 2 balls, no strikes. Cespedes is on deck. Then the left-hand hitting Lucas Duda.
5 extra base hits and those 8 hits for Atlanta tonight too. 1 homer.
3 balls, 1 strike. High fly ball to right. Markakis is underneath, shy of the track. And the Braves have one-hit the Mets. Enjoy it, Matt Whistler. 8 innings of one-hit shutout ball. Malik Smith with his first big league home run. Atlanta played sterling defense tonight and has even up this series. And they beat Matt Harvey in the process. 3-0 tonight's final from New York. Plenty of good things to talk about with you from Citi Field after a break.